Hello everyone, welcome and thanks again for joining me. I'm Carlos and this is the Bourbon Bar. Today I have a review on something that has taken the world by storm, some people's pockets too, depending on what you find it for. It is Blanton Single Barrel. Blanton's has a couple of items in their lineup, and here in the US this is the entry level, and they've blessed us with starting their most entry level with a single barrel. Most whiskey companies kind of have a blended whiskey or just their bare bones bourbon and small batch or whatever, and then they work their tiers up. Their entry level is a single barrel, so that being said, there can be variance and differences between one barrel to another, but on average, they're all 93 proof and they're all really consistent and really similar and good. So I'll start off with a little nose and the trusty Glencairn, and we'll go from there. While I whiffed it and build some legs and see what I'm working with, I do want to mention the MSRP on this bottle is about $50 to $55. You'll be really lucky and pleased, and it'd be like Christmas coming early if you got it for that price based on today's demand. I've seen this bottle anywhere from $90 to $225, which absolutely blows my mind. I'd never pay that high for it. I may have paid a little over MSRP for my first. My second one, I did get lucky and scored for the MSRP price, so, you know, one balances out the other, so get to crack one, drink one, save one, and, you know, roll from there. Hopefully I can find some more for a reasonable price. Start off with the nose. A little honey, a little vanilla, a little cinnamon and orange peel. And a little barrel char and baking spice. It's really nice. And for something that sells in the way that this does, I mean, it should be really nice, but you know how it is. Sometimes a name or just the hype sometimes drives things out of control. This is really good, but some of the inflated prices are out of control, not the quality of the drink itself. So keep that in mind. It builds some nice legs. They're not really rich and thick like some of the other ones have been, but you know, I mean, it's at least the foundation for something that you'd say, and all right, you know, you can detect just by looking at it that it does have a level of quality that, well, looking and smelling it looks better than, you know, most $40, $50 whiskeys. So I'll get in and take a sip and get to the next step. Very sweet, soft and mellow, a mild medium body right away. Right as you put it to your face and you're inhaling as you're about to take a sip, you get more of the notes of like kind of honey and oak. But then as you swallow, the honey and cinnamon factor, really nice. Balanced, nothing overpowers or overtakes another. Really smooth and some really nice rich flavors in there. It's really nice. The color is a nice golden oaky color, not very dark and amber like other bourbons can be. This particular does not carry an age statement. That's okay though. As proven before, sometimes an age statement doesn't always mean it's going to be the best or prove that it's going to be better than others, but it's so darn smooth. There's a really nice little rye spice to help balance out all the smooth and sweetness. Honey, oak, and leather. And the little soft rye spice at the end. Not a single burn in the mouth. Really no hug or warmth going down. The finish is short to medium. It's not a very long finish, but you know, you get some nice mild dry oak notes and back to the caramel. Now, I'm not comparing the tasting notes to an apple, but I'm going to compare the finish to one, like a nice red like Red Delicious or even a Honeycrisp. You bite it, you get your notes, and then it cleanly, crisply fades away. And I would definitely say that is the way that this finishes. You get your caramel, your leather, and a little bit of oak, and then it's gone. Pleasantly, softly, gently, and I've had other things, well, I've done reviews even on things that are around the 93 proof, and some carry on more depth and more flavor. Not that this is lacking, it's just so smooth and gentle that you can see why somebody is willing to cough up a little more than $54 to get it. I don't encourage people spending more than MSRP, but you have to factor availability, and if it's there, it's there. It's not going to be there for long, and you know, what's it worth it to you? I mean, if you haven't had one before, I wouldn't recommend going overboard and paying. If you have, then at least you know how much you may or may not like it. I don't know. I'd spend a little bit over the MSRP for it. I mean, it's really good. I think my cutoff personally would be around 80 or 90, and that might be a little high for some, but you know, in my lifetime, in the last 5 years, let's put this into perspective. 5 years ago, I could walk into any Jewel Osco, any Myers, most big liquor stores, and I'd find it on the shelf ready in multiples for $55. In the last 3 years, forget about it. I've seen it a couple times. I bought one overpriced. I bought one at the right point, but I got really lucky on that one. Like really, really lucky. Like I bought the last two, or there was 3 left. When I walked away with mine, there was only 2 left, and there was a limit, 1 per customer. So also that story, the one that I got for the right price at MSRP, store opened at 10 technically per the website, and I was in there at 9:40 grabbing one of the last couple. So it's going to be a really hard find for most of you guys, and depending on how much you do or don't like something of that quality or level, I mean, I always like to give you guys the pleasure of deciding what it's actually worth, but if you really like it, sometimes I think it's worth maybe spending just a little bit more just to guarantee you have one and secure multiples, or secure one that you can crack open at a certain time. And I don't know. Again, I really don't like to support alcohol or liquor stores charging more than its real MSRP, but I don't know. Let's put this into perspective too. You can't just walk in and buy a Pappy, but if you see a Pappy and it's a little marked up, are you gonna even think twice? No. Again, Pappy comes out once a year. This is multiple releases throughout the year, but the way it flies off of shelves, it almost feels like you're chasing a Pappy. And I'm in Illinois, and it's hard, really, really hard to find Blantons. And I don't know. Keeping that in perspective, that's kind of where I stand. You know, if I really want something, which I've said before, this is an item that I would strongly want, but for over $100, I'd probably have to pass. You know, that being said, it is a really, really awesome quality whiskey. I'll go back in, I'll get a last tasting note and last finish, and you know, we'll go from there. That nose is pretty awesome. It's like a rum raisin and oak. Yeah, really, really, really nice. No warmth in the mouth. Again, no hug going down. But the mouth it's like honey and cinnamon and orange peel, and it's outstanding. It's really good. Something cool about the bottles, you'll see it is dated when it was whiskey dumped on. So from the barrel into a bottle, September 20th of 21, warehouse, what is it, 16 at Rick number 5, from barrel number 57, and they always put the proof at 93. So that being said, it's kind of cool. It's got a little bit of information on it. You know, nothing really that gets too specific, but sometimes it's nice to know when and how and from where your bottle was bottled or distilled or comes from. So without being too revealing, it does give out some cool information. And if you didn't know, every bottle has a horse, and at the bottom of the heel of one horse, there's always going to be letters. I think that drives up demand a little bit. Everyone wants to have the full Blantons written out throughout the horse tops, and this one's an L. My other one's an O, so as you can see, I have quite a lot of work to go to complete the set. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not like a massive collector of stuff like that. I'm more so, I want one to drink and one to save. That's kind of my recipe for collecting and storing and building up my bar. So without being greedy, that's kind of my thought process. I want one, and until I get a second, I'm not opening the first. So that's my method of building up my bar, and you guys are entitled to do it your own way. Otherwise, thanks for joining me. I hope I give out some good information, and cheers. I'll see you soon.